So we did a video running through the Strixon products, and as part of the same family, we're also going to be stocking some of the Cleveland products this year, adding to our offering, so not just the wedges. So we're going to start with the HIBORE XL driver. Now the Cleveland HIBORE series of drivers in the past have really been very successful. And so it's a name that they've gone back to, not unsurprisingly. So what are the key features of this head? Well, the shape of it, as you'll see pretty much straight away, is quite distinctive. Now we've seen this head shape in golf before, reason being you can position lots of weight deep and back for loads of forgiveness, and the kind of the AI shaping and the face tech, the AI face tech that Cleveland are using with this model is designed specifically for that, maximizing forgiveness, trying to get as much face in play from a performance point of view as possible. So, utilizing mass positioning, maybe not focusing, if they were focusing purely on ball speed, the shaping would be slightly different. This is about forgiveness and margin of error. So loads of weight deep and back, really kind of looking at the framing and the shaping, very light center section, light crown, all about getting weight back and stable across the face. So it's really about giving the largest ball striking area possible. So you've got AI design in both the shape and the thick thin structure to the face. A lot of the technologies that Strixon, essentially parent company of Cleveland, who own Cleveland, a lot of the technologies Strixon are utilizing incorporated into this, but as a brand focusing on forgiveness rather than raw distance. So getting as much distance off center as possible with that shaping and framing. Mainframe XL is another feature. So again, it's the XL series. So mainframe, you may have heard us talk about mainframe in our video with Strixon. XL, Cleveland's utilization of it. So it's a variable face thickness pattern. So thick thin. So we've got that slightly kind of stronger section in the center. Reshaping the sweet spot very slightly, which enlarges the area that you can get away with and keep the most ball speed possible. So it's about getting energy transfer across the face as efficient as possible. So again, a cross-face performance, as well as sort of trying to get as much speed out the center as possible. However, that's been limited for 20 years. So there's only so much one can do with that part, but about a cross-face ball speed maintenance. So by repositioning weight low and deep in the head, that's about energy transfer. That's about getting the consistency of ball speed across the face rather than just out the center point. Active wing. So this is something that you'll see on the crown of the head. So those, depending on what angle, we'll do a close-up of this. It's sort of aerofoil design. And this is really about harnessing aerodynamics, getting the air tracking across, trying to make it as easy as possible to square this up. These are big heads. There's been a lot of debate, some of our previous videos about head size being so big that it's limiting club speed. So this is a way of getting the aerodynamics of the head optimized to get that toe squaring up as much as possible. So whereas in other models it's about just raw club speed, this is about getting that toe through and trying to help the face square up, because that's really where you're going to optimize ball speed, by getting a square contact. That gets the most efficient transfer back to the ball. So hence that ridging on the top, again there'll be a close-up on view here, is about helping that rotation rate squaring up and getting you striking it out of the middle as often as possible. We also have a 1.5 degree adjustable sleeve here as well. So again, plenty of ability to loft it up, loft down, and just face angle as well. So you've got a 3 degree top to bottom adjustable position on this. So plenty of loft options available, as well as face angle adjustments too. So quick final point on this, available in 9, 10.5 and 12 degrees of custom order. There is an XL light version. And so what that incorporates is a lighter shaft, so 10 grams lighter in the shaft, 10 grams lighter in the grip. It's a lightweight grip, and that allows the head weight to go a little bit lighter and retain swing weight, but 30 odd grams lighter in total, which is about optimizing basically the ability to square it up. So it's kind of a sort of draw-ish bias in that respect. It's slightly more draw biased internally in the driver head as well, but about optimizing club speed and making it as easy to square up as possible. So they are doing that XL light version too. So we've got the Halo XL fairway wood and hybrid here, because there is some tech that tracks across both. So we've got the glide rails, so those rails in the bottom there. And what that does is that helps stabilize the club head's interaction with the turf, so it helps it stay square through the ball. Essentially, if you've got two rails tracking through, the head can't twist as much. So that helps both with fairway and hybrid. You've got the rails on both of those. That's something that just helps a little bit of turf interaction, but stability of the club headed impact as well. In the fairway, we've got mainframe XL. So again, that's that thick, thin design on the face. This is something that's incorporated through the woods. It's about optimizing ball speed across the face, and by going a little bit thinner and lighter, that allows weight to be repositioned low in the sole, helps launch, optimizes ball speed as well. Similar principle with the hybrid on that too. So very, very similar performance aspects there. We've got XL head design. So in the fairway, XL, slightly bigger frame shape, inspires a bit of confidence. So it's really about making someone feel comfortable standing over the ball. You know, it's not overly shallow head, but the scale of the head means that you actually feel like you've got something to hit with, and that's something that, you know, a low deep weighting profile helps from a flight point of view. But that bigger head, again, confidence inspiring. And this series is really about getting the ball airborne. That low deep weighting helps launch angle, pops the ball up in the air, something that at moderate speeds is massively important. Less so if you've got high speed, launch angle and height really important for a moderate speed player. We've also got, on the fairway, we've got rebound frame. So again, that's a stiffer frame, allowing to thin out the face, but using those two flex points, again, to be confirmed with Strixon Cleveland exactly where those sit, optimizing ball speed across the face. That again also sits in the hybrid too. So it's really about getting all that energy transferred back into the ball. With the fairway woods, they do the light version. Now the light version have slightly different lofts. So in the standard model, it's a 3, 5, 7 wood option. They do a 3HL, 5HL, 7HL in the light. Now they're actually slightly higher loft. So the lighter weight is to help get the club through the ball a little bit more easily. You know, lighter shaft, lighter grip. But the heads being that little bit more lofted also help get that airborne a little bit more. So designed around, again, you know, moderate speed, so the lighter weight, get the ball flighted. So really, really key to have that loft and flight at lower speeds, something that Cleveland are really focusing on with this series. So in the hybrids, again, plenty of lofts covered. We've got just make sure I get this right, because there are lots of them, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 hybrid lofts, so from 18 degrees up to 30. So again, plenty of lofts available there. Cleveland are also doing what they call a high wood. So this is literally a halfway house. I haven't got the sample here with me, but the lengths sit halfway between, the head sizes sit halfway between. The head design is a bit of an amalgamation of both. We're trying to get the best of both worlds on it. So for someone who is uncomfortable with the length of the fairway wood heads, in principle trying to still get the ball speed progression that you get out of fairway woods and that slightly higher club speed out of the longer shaft length than a hybrid. So trying to get the mix of best of both. There is also a 9 wood available in the standard fairway wood model as well. So again, loads of options on the woods, and certainly not something to overlook, especially if you're trying to get that ball up in the air. So Cleveland's new wedge, the RTZ or RTZ, depending on where you're based. Cleveland wedge has always been very, very popular and has such a huge history. And there is an innovation here. It's a new material, it's a new alloy. So what the RTZ alloys, a Z alloy or Z alloy, is it's a material that's allowed them to go a little bit softer feeling, but improved durability. So historically, durability has meant hardness. It's going to feel harder. That's why, you know, the raw wedges that don't have a chrome plating on have always felt softer, because the chrome's harder than the metal underneath, but that gives durability. So the alloy that we have here, it's a completely new material, but it's a little bit rust resistant as well, which is good, particularly in the Torak versions where it resists rust a little bit, so it takes longer for it to rust up, but that also means it wears better too. So it's that durability and softness which has really been the focus on that new material, and something that, you know, without going to a new material, there's really nothing you can do with a standard, you know, carbon steel. So it'd be fascinating to see how that durability of spin and the softness, certainly through the hitting testing we've done with these, they do feel really very nice. You know, from a weight positioning point of view, plenty of weight sat up in the top of the head there, a little bit of a scoop out the back. Again, all wedge designs are trying to put weight high, move the CG up, which lowers launch, increases spin. Really nice, clean, simple visual to this. Again, there's not a lot of reinventing the wheel that can be done on a wedge, but I think, you know, certainly cleaning up the visuals, whilst it's completely trivial to performance is a really key aspect because they do look absolutely great. But that Z alloy, Z alloy is something that I think will be fascinating to see over the next year or two, how well that durability retains, because it's something that I've really pinned the hat on with this series. There's also an innovation called HydroZip. Now, it's a system of face blasting and laser milling between the grooves. So essentially it's maximizing spin. You've got quite a deep etch out on the toe side, really kind of outside the strike point, unless you're maybe in a bunker, but there's some really fine milling in between the grooves here. So what that does is, in wet conditions, it's channeling moisture away. It's making sure that the roughness of the milling in between the grooves gets to the ball and you don't get a layer of moisture in between, which stops you getting the grip on moderate speed shots. So it's in the same way that other brands have utilised a finish to optimise that grip in wet conditions. This is Cleveland's attempt at it, and that mixture of milling and laser etching is really about getting as much grip as possible, but without creating extra grooves, because obviously that would make them illegal. So maximising spin across all the lofts and in all conditions. Zip core stays, that's something that, the low density core replacing heavy materials in the hosel allows you to replace the dense material behind the strike point, solidity of feel, some might say a softer feel, but it's allowing you to put the mass in the right position in the head to optimize launch and spin, and efficiency of strike point with the variety of shots you play when you open and close the face. It's important to have that mass up the top of the head, but if you've got a load of weight in the hosel, you can't reposition it there. So this is about repositioning mass close to shift the center of gravity, but close to the strike point to give you that solid feel of contact. And the other bit here, UltiZip is the other name of the update that they've done onto this. Slightly sharper grooves than slightly sharper edges to the grooves, so I'm tripping over my tongue slightly, which just allows them to cut through the grass, get to the ball, get that grip on the face, get as much spin as possible. Again, that's all conditions, all lies, but all around, very, very simple, clean looking head. Slight adjustments to the grinds. They had the low plus in the RTX 6. The low plus has gone, so we've got the standard, full, and the mid, and those are all in heads that have just the standard groove configuration. There is a full face series that has the adapt sole, which is slightly more graduated sole shape. It's a high toe and a full face design. And the full face and the adapt sole, it's only available in those configurations and limited lofts. So we've got the Tour satin finish, there's a black satin as well, and the Tour rack. And we'll be able to post something showing all the loft options and finishes, or if not, you'll be able to see it on the website very soon. But again, plenty of options, and I think it'll be really fascinating. They're really softer feeling wedge. I think they've done a great job with these. So really excited to see how these get going in the fitting bay and how people like them moving forward.